Hello. Yeah, so about the double shape with autocomplete edit and autocomplete new these components. There is a basic functionality that we have on these components. If user enter address or select address from the suggestions and then try to save, we check the address that if it's like a proper address or not. So when at the time we were developing these components, we had a method which actually uses Smarty-Street API to check that if these addresses are like fine or not. But there are another class that we use which is called um, address update service. So this class is like I have talked about this one before, that this class like include all these functionality whatever we have in the app. So using did you mean, or using the secondary verification, or something, everything like that. But the autocompletes, these were like were not these are not using the secondary verification functionalities and other functionality as well. They just use like the Smarty Street verification, the domestic and international verification. If you like remove the street on the edit or new components, they will not work. They will say that the address is like wrong, even though we have like enabled like without street verification. But with the new changes that I'm working on, like where we are not going to like save the address again, the record again, but we just uh, we will save and verify the address in one go, like you know what I mean. So in this like changes, I'm like including everything that's there. So everything will work on this new components. And I'm creating new components, so I'm not changing anything in auto edit and auto complete edit and auto complete new. So I think after testing we can merge the new components and override these two components, or like whatever you want. The second thing is that you said like autocomplete pro autocomplete is not working. So I checked and it's giving status code 402, which is like payment required. So please let me know about the keys if there is some payment issue or something like that, because it's giving me 402 status payment required. So please let me know about that. The third thing is I have started working on autocomplete new. With autocomplete edit, like we don't care about the parent record, because the record is already created. And if someone wants to change the parent, they can like change it from the edit component if the parent field is on the layouts. And but in case of autocomplete new, we have two three scenarios by which we create the record. So for example, let me show you what I am saying. So first thing, let's say the object that we want to create record for we take contact an example. So I want to go back to classic. uh, like I have a habit of using classic, but it's fine, lightning is fine too. So yeah, so someone want to create the contact from here, so new button. If someone want to create a new contact from here, they can choose like the record type here, and then if they continue, and if the component is overridden, then we will get the object name and the record type name as well, like record type ID. So both we will get both in our component, so it's fine. This scenario is fine. But the second scenario, which is like creating the contact from its parents related list, I'm not like hard coding the things right here. That's the point. So if someone wants to like come and here and like create the contact from here, that's the issue. Like if the condition that we have, like if this is the scenario, someone is coming here and trying to create new contact. If there is no record type to select, it will just move directly to our component, I think, of course. And in that case, we will not know the parent ID, the account ID. But if they, just like in the current scenario, user will select like a record type, and then it will like move, and then we will get the record type and the parent ID from the URL. The URL have like ACC ID here and the record type ID here. So this is the scenario that is fine. But the scenario I'm talking about is if there is no record type, uh, we cannot get the account ID. So that's the first scenario. But what I'm talking about is like there is a the component that I have not created. This one, create contact with record type, and I wanted to discuss this one because I understand what the purpose of this component. But there are some changes that's done in our autocomplete new component, and that's I was looking into that component and it made me curious. So I want to talk about autocomplete new. So autocomplete new have like these three new attributes. Like I never focused on these because I have not added these three, and I think you know about these three. So this first is SEC ID, second is record type ID 1, and the third is calling from another component. And I did just gone through these uh, variables and what it does. So first is like the SEC ID is like the account ID, which is, and record type ID from the record type ID from parent, and the third is calling from another component. So technically, if you like if I will like explain the component that is here, create contact with record type, then we will like you will understand what it does in the new component. So technically, uh, let me explain the create contact with record type component. So this component, uh, this is very simple component, and it's designed for contact only. So when this component load, this is the fetch list of record type run, and it gets the record types that are on the contact. Okay, so whatever contact record type is on the contact, it will get from fx, and then it check if there is no record type, like object like object does not have any record type, then it will just navigate to the next component, and the next component is the complete new. But if there is like okay, so second option is, if there is one record type, then that means that's default record type, and it will navigate to the next component with that record type. Third option is, uh, if there is more than one record type, then it will show the record type on the component screen right here. It says select record type, and then user can select one record type, and he can like click create record or something like that. There is a button create record. So technically this component like that's like get the record type that's on the contact. If there is no record type, then it will just redirect to the next component. If there is only one record type, then it will use that record type and redirect to the next component. And if there is more than more than one record type, then it will ask the user to select one, and then it will redirect to the next component. So what is like the next let's talk about the next component. So it redirect to the autocomplete new screen, and by passing the account ID, which is ACC ID, because this create contact with record type component, I think it should be used on the account layout account. It should be I think it is used on the account with an action or something like that. So this will pass ACC ID, the account ID in the ACC ID. Record type 1 will have the record type, and the is calling from another component true. So now you know that this create contact with record type is redirecting to autocomplete new component with these parameters, ACC ID, which is account ID, and the record type that's selected for the contact, and it's like saying is calling from another component. Now let's come back to our autocomplete new. So here these three are the global parameters which is passed from the previous one. And what it does, if here, you know, if autocomplete new is called from the like another component, then we will have the account ID and the record type that is that is selected for the contact. So we have the record type ID and the parent ID, which is the account ID, and later we read everything from the URL. Okay, but in this scenario, we will already have the data from the previous component. And at the end you see here it is like saying is calling from another component. If this is true, that means if it is called from create contact with record type, then it's hard coded that the current object is contact, right? Otherwise the current object can be any object like custom or standard. So The third and the next thing is, when we are getting the addresses, we pass the account ID and pass that is called from parent record. So what it does is, while getting the address, it will copy the account's billing address to contact's shipping address. So it's like copy billing address is an option on the address, which will only work on the contact and account relationship. So this is done right here. But everything right here, if I go to the server, I hope you are getting it, what I'm trying to say. So this is the server, and here at the end, like you will see that this is called from parent, and if the heading is mailing, that's mailing address, and copy from billing is true, then it will get the billing address from account, and copy this right here. So right here, even the address fields are hard coded. If user like override the fields, I'm not sure if user can like should override, but that's okay. uh, so it's like hard coded for account, and that's fine because the functionality is like copy from billing. But what I'm trying to say is that we should like make our, like I'm just suggesting that, uh, because I'm working on the autocomplete new component, and I'm modifying everything that's just not required, or I will not go change anything that's right here. I'm just showing you, but I'm modifying few things like when we need to call the APIs, and how to put the verified responses, so that we don't need to update the record after it's created or it's updated, because that was a problem. Now I want to suggest that this create contact with record type component can be a dynamic, like create record with record type, not create contact, but create record with record type. It could have been like dynamic. It's not that much change, I think. But it can be converted to a dynamic component, a generic component, which can be like create record with record type. Okay, and then we can like make this our component dynamic too. It will still work with the copy from billing, but you can also add an option like for other objects, like copy from parent or something like that. So we can like copy the address from parent and show it on the screen when we are loading the addresses, but that's okay. So the thing is that why I'm saying that create record from with record type, and changing the autocomplete with the making it generic, not hard coded, like you see here, right? If it says like is calling from another component, then it's hard coded to contact. But let's say you want to do the same thing for opportunity. You want to create opportunity from account, then this will be like one more condition. Then you have to modify the autocomplete new, and you have to add like is calling from another component opportunity or something like that. So you have to add three more uh, variables right here, so because it's hard coded for contact and account. So if you want to like use this functionality for opportunity, that you want to create opportunity from account, and you want to pass the account ID and the record type ID for the opportunity, we can make this component generic to not just work for object name contact, but it's simple that it's just simple small change, and it will be generic to use for any object, like just like contact we can use it for opportunities. And then with a small changes right here, it will handle opportunities as well. Now talking about, if you don't want to like do anything about copy from billing, it's okay. We don't need to change anything here. If the parent is account and the current child is contact, then it will work just like that. But if something else, we will skip that just like right now it will skip if this is not an account and contact relationship. I hope that you understand this is, and I'm working on autocomplete new. So please let me know. I will change this one as well. Thank you.